everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gordon's Garage. On this one, the Camaro's been put on hold. Oh man, it frustrated me bad. It's in timeout, that's what it is, yeah. Today, no, you're not imagining things. The bike is on the bike lift backwards. Yeah, that's right. The front wheel's supposed to be in that chalk. But I've got special plans today. We're gonna change out all the locks on this bike today. I'm gonna have to take this front forks completely off. The triple tree up in there has got to come completely apart so I can get the lock that locks the steering out of there. And so it's going to be some work. So I'm going to put you up on a tripod. We're going to run some music and I'm going to run a little fast forward. I'll take little breaks here and there just to explain something really weird. But hang on tight, and this is what it's going to take to change out all the locks on a 2001 Honda Shadow. Okay, so there we have it. We got it all apart-ish, not completely apart, because I don't need to wrestle that whole thing offline. And there is a whole lot of wires running to that headlight that's looped through a bunch of stuff. I don't want to tangle with that offline too. The one thing I didn't do was really go through these parts good to know if they actually fit. So I might need to do that now. This is the ignition switch. That's the keys, and it looks like that's the lock right there. Oh, this is a helmet lock, and of course the gas tank lid. That's last because it's the easiest, right? Okay, so let's take this out of the package. Oh, looky there. It's nice and chrome and shiny, and this one is all dull and everything. And yes, that's how the mechanism works underneath there. You turn the key and that post rises up into a hole and it won't let that thing go anywhere. That's exactly what I got there. Yeah, that looks like it's going to just direct replacement. The two screws that come out of here I'm going to have to use in this one, but that's great. All right, so yeah, I could take that out. No. I've got this just a bit apart right here. This distance, that right there is what I'm working with. I might have to raise it up just a tad more, I don't know. So what I have here is a little 1/4-inch ratchet drive with a little screwdriver bit thing in it. And I'm gonna try my best to get in here and just break it loose. And it's turning. I don't have any issues with rust or anything. All this is alloy anyways. All right. This isn't going to be that hard to take out. If I could quit dropping things on my nice painted fender, I would be doing awesome. Now, I'm debating to go ahead and put some Loctite on these threads. That would make sure that it doesn't fall off going down the road with vibrations. But we'll see. One thing I am going to do is I'm going to get some ball bearing grease on these ball bearings and add some because they look like they're a little dry. And there you have it. That one is off, and that new one's gonna go on. Now for the next step, I've got to get all this back up in there. Well, I'm going to add some grease to that, but yeah, I've got to get all that back up in there. And I'm going to be in some awkward positions, so yeah, I'm not filming that. I'm sorry guys, but nope. I just started putting some grease on this and I noticed something. Let me get my hands cleaned off. I'm going to bring you in here. There's a secret little thing on these Honda Shadows I don't think a lot of y'all know about. So the thing that most of y'all don't see is, because it's trapped underneath everything, is in the frame, they have this bird. This is a cast metal piece, part of the neck. It's all one big, and I've never noticed that on Honda Shadow 2001. That's crazy. Pretty cool. Never knew it was there. Okay, so that gets that part done. Well, I've got two more bolts that holds this light bar in place. They're way back up in here and it's hard for me to see and I can't get a camera in there anyways. Next we're gonna head over to the ignition switch. It's the next hardest one to do. So yeah, pretty much one down and 3 more to go. All right, so the next part of this is gonna be this ignition switch. A simple plug here and 1 wire, and this bracket on the back has 2 holes, so there's 2 bolts. This dust cover is nice and chrome, where mine is actually black. This is gonna be an upgrade. Look at there, some more chrome for the bike. Yeah, that's gonna look nice in there. So yeah, I've got to pop off this cover and it's easy. It just literally snaps right off. Okay, and right there is where it goes, and it runs around, yeah, underneath the other cover on the other side. That's where this plugs in. Not going to be too hard. So yeah, let me find my 10mm, it looks like. See if it's right here. That is not it, and that is not it. So I'm going to have to get the right tools, and then I'm going to go unbolt that, unplug it, and plug in the new one. So it appears I have just a little bit of difference on the back of this. So I've got 1 of 2 options. I can either drill a second hole here for this one, or I can take this thing apart. It looks like it's threaded a bolt in there, and the same with this, and I can put this plate on the back of this switch. Which do I want to do? I like this new one. It's nice and black, and if I put it in here like that, it's going to be just needing a hole. So let me do that. Let me just drill a hole in that. Okay, that got a lot harder than I thought. So I thought this was going to be a simple bolt on and plug in, and nope. Anyways, this plug on the end of there has 4 ends, and this one has 3, the old one. So the pigtail on this one was only about that long from the lock, and this one was about that long. So I had to do some splicing wires and stuff, and I had to sit down with the ohm meter, and I had to test what these wires were connected to whenever I switched on off, and find the same thing with this one. Completely different switch, had 5 wires actually coming off of it. This one had 3. So I worked all that out. I got them, yeah, all that's together. It's working now. I can turn this on and off. The bike starts. Everything's great. The other thing I had to do that didn't work with me was this rubber piece is underneath the switch. The switch sits in there like that. Now, this back plate, I drilled a hole in it, and I found out a little problem there with that is the fact that the wire coming out of the switch is right over this hole, and I couldn't get a bolt in it if I wanted to. So drilling the hole didn't work. I had to use the metal plate that was on the back of this switch, and it just happened to work. It just turns out, even though this new metal plate does not fit the bottom of this rubber gasket, it fit the bottom of that one. And so all I had to do is switch out those metal plates. Okay, that mess is over with. The next two, I guarantee, are easier. I know they are. One is the helmet lock right here. That's the next one. It looks like this on the back side. It has 2 bolt holes, one here, one here. I'm gonna have to find some bolts. Thank goodness I have a metric threaded thing over there to figure out what it is. This is what the front side looks like. These 2 holes actually fit right here on the fender. This is where the stock helmet lock goes on this Honda. But somebody put saddlebags on it which cover that, and they've removed it and moved it back here to the back on the side of the license plate. Now, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep this Honda key because I'm gonna leave that lock on there. I'm gonna put this lock on this side right here. That means I gotta remove this fender. Not too scared about doing that because I need to go ahead and buff all that paint right here anyways. And I'd rather do it offline than throwing that buffing compound all over this bike. So yeah, that's all I gotta do is get a couple of bolts for this, snatch it on. Then the last item is the gas cap. That's so easy. You just pull that one off and put this one on. So I will have 2 keys because I have a second helmet lock. That helmet lock can just go anytime because it's just bolted to the license plate. And this is a more secure spot. Someone can't get to the bolts and back them off and take your helmet with the lock. All right, so I gotta take off a rear fender. I have to admit, that helmet lock was real easy. This one is even easier, but you know me, I'm not gonna make it easy. So what I'm gonna do here is get an Allen wrench, and this fuel tank cap is in a little, there's a chrome hole in this benzol thing, and that's where it sits. Well, it's off center, and so I need to loosen up all these Allens that hold this chrome piece on and scoot it over so that whenever I put the new one in, it's nice and square, just for you guys. Well, it's really for me because I have to look at it all the time. the way this lock works on your gas tank is the key goes in and out whenever you have it snapped in place. You've got two little keepers here on either side that hang on to the inside lip of this hole, and to get them to retract back in, you have to press on this rubber ring, because when you set it in there, it sets on that hole and you press down and your key will snap back to a neutral position. So yeah, I got to press on this, or I've got to do this. I'm going to turn the key. It pulls those in. So when I push down on it, that's where it opens up. So when I push down on this, they eject out and hold onto that ring. And you cannot get your key out once you've unlocked it and you've taken this off. And the funny thing is, I think they designed this so that you didn't drive off and leave your gas cap at the gas pump. You have to take the key out to put it in the bike to start it, and it won't come out unless you have the gas cap returned into, oh, they go all the way in. Oh, there it goes. I just had to push a little harder. And there we have it, back all together. I didn't get this exactly where I want it. It's still a little off, but I'm kind of held to where these are bolted in at. And underneath this bolt is a rubber grommet, and the bolt goes through it. So it's trying to push itself over for a reason. And the rubber grommet's gonna keep it from straightening it up like I want. All right, so I have touched this bike all day, and I've been, and so I've got it all finger smudged. I need to wash the bike down. I need to put the windshield back on. And other than that, I have everything changed. That's awesome. Here's a cool little tidbit. That little blue stuff that was on, here, let me shut this. All right, the little blue stuff that was on this cover, keeping it from getting scratched up during shipping, it wouldn't come out of that little arrow. So I just left it in there like it's an accent of some type. So that came out pretty cool. Let me get this back in here. Well, there we have it. It's all ready to ride again. I left the passenger seat off, give me a chance to run around with the solo kind of style going. And I left the hood fairing off there, the front fairing. It's snaps on like that, so I can put it right back on as soon as I want. So that's gonna wrap up this part of the episode. So I'd like to talk to y'all about what happened to the Camaro, where we're at really. So where we're at on the Camaro is I've just purchased the complete engine gasket kit. So what's going on is I got all that bad pressure on the passenger side and the driver's side's looking good. I really believe maybe it's a head gasket now. So either way, I've got to get all that smog pump stuff off there, pull the intake off, pull the heads off so I can get in there and look just to see if that's the problem. So that's going to be on the back burner for just maybe one more episode or two. I don't know. But right now, man, got this thing back together and it starts and runs just right. I can't wait. I want to get it out there on the street. So yeah, y'all have a good weekend.